Thank you for joining us on Earth File. I am Ayola Kasim. Providing environmentally sustainable and economically viable options for waste management is a task that governments around the world are looking at solving. Here in Nigeria, waste is a constant problem, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Experts say the country is missing out on the benefits in the waste management sector. So on this final edition of Earth File for the year 2014, our focus is on how an interested investor can make money from waste. Do stay with us. Across Nigeria's cities and villages, as in many other developing countries, solid waste, including plastic bottles and other non-biodegradable materials, end up at dump sites and landfills, often clogging drains and waterways, contributing to health and environmental issues. Lagos, the commercial nerve center of the country, is hit the most. A major headache for successive administrations in the state has been how to devise appropriate and efficient waste management mechanism that would enhance a cleaner, safer, and healthier environment.
The number one area that I believe is the culture of the people, which unfortunately wasn't like this, until we have this breakdown in the society, the social values. All right, the Nigeria that I grew to know, we were clean people. We have all these rhymes about public hygiene and the personal hygiene from primary school. And right now, there's nothing like that. There's nothing about personal hygiene. There's nothing about social hygiene, community hygiene. So, the social value, there's a decay that is telling out into the areas of waste management itself. So that's why you find people easily, without blinking an eye, you can throw something, refuse on the street, and then you walk away. And the time past was not like that. Public utility, we value it like a personal utility, personal items. But right now, there's no more. So we have to do a lot to convince and to coerce people into doing the right thing. So there's a whole lot of energy we dissipate in that direction right now. And I think it's common in the big cities in Nigeria.
As Lagos Management Authority battles to rid Lagos of garbage and other unwanted materials in spite of daunting challenges, refuse generation in the mega city, according to the agency, has risen from 10,000 to 12,000 metric tons per day. But environmental experts say there is not enough data that could help the agency to plan properly.
If you fail to plan, you will fail. If you don't plan well, you will fail. You cannot plan well if you don't have the data to use to plan. And that's why we're saying, through this medium, to say, let us start building data, robust data, good data, that will guide us in our planning for our waste management. Take it or leave it. We don't know how much waste is deposited on a daily basis on the streets of Lagos. Therefore, we don't know how many vehicles we need to cut away such waste. When we start building such data together, then we'll do better.
The waste management industry plays a key role.
To resolve the differences in opinion between the academia and the agency, there was a forum on multi-stakeholder cooperation for knowledge and capacity development in waste management recently in Lagos. The take-home point at this event was that there is a need for both the town and the gown to collaborate in solving the waste management challenges.
We are now in a position to get our universities, our polytechnics, to work with LOMA, with waste management authorities, to develop the data in order for us to... The waste management authorities so far have simply been doing a routine job of cutting away waste. Now they are becoming to realize that they also need to plan in order to be able to perform their duties well. In planning, they need data. Where will they get the data from? There are people who don't have the time to do that. The universities and the research institutions are there to assist them to put this data together, and that's where we are coming from. That's what we are saying. That's what we are saying. Right now, we should be in a position to provide LOMA with the correct amount of information of waste to be cutted, waste to be treated, waste to be dealt with, and in that way LOMA will even perform better than it's doing.
From my perspective, And from what I know, really, we have a lot of data. From the government side, yes, research findings and data with commission studies, and not just Loma alone right now, but I'm talking for government generally. Well, various studies have been commissioned with data, with information given to government bodies. But most of this information just stay in the shelf. They don't go beyond the shelf. And as successive government come, they do the same thing, reinvent the wheel, and we get data in there and now. But whereas the academia require data to process data, government is not trained to process data. But these data are not made available for the academia to process. And so that the product of the processing of this data will give the direction within which government needs to formulate the right policy that will benefit the private sector. The private sector also requires this information so that they can develop appropriate studies, feasibility studies, to be able to invest properly. But all this information, all these actions are resident with people and with various government bodies, especially in government now sector. So I can tell you for free that yes, at Loma, there's so much data right there, flying on the Loma website and various shelves. But data without process has no meaning. That's the essence of bringing the town and the GAM together, so that the GAM, the university, can actually look into the research, and not just to collect data, because the data are right there with government, but to process this data for proper policy formulation, and that will stimulate growth.
Though Loma has been recognized for its performance over the years, it has not escaped criticism too. Many say it is fast losing its grip on keeping the state clean. The management says Loma is now a victim of its own success.
It shows definitely that we are making an impact, and the reward for good work is more work. People demand more from you when they see that you're serious about your work. That's essentially the positive I can bring out for that. And then we cannot reach everywhere at all times. We need the collaboration of people, residents, businesses, and all that, to bring to fore what the challenges are. And Lagos population is increasing steadily. We are urbanizing at a massive rate. There's a lot of building construction going all around the place. Business environment is changing. Take Alausa environment, for example. The constitution of its waste has changed purely by the Ikeja Mall. And, so the challenges are expanding and increasing, and we have to be on top of them. So all efforts to collaborate and marshal all our human and financial resources is welcome.
What Loma is doing right now, when we started the reform program, we started with the upstream activities, which is so visible. That is the waste collection, the city cleansing, and the rest of them, evacuation. Yes, those are the upstream activities. And yes, people saw the paradigm shift, the dramatic change, and the cleanliness was so visible. Right now, we left the downstream sector, which is the disposal, recycling, and area for electricity, and we're already at that stage where we're doing so much at downstream. The downstream is not very visible, all right? But it's capital intensive. It's more expensive than upstream activities. Where the waste ends up, on the landfill, on the recycling plant. So we are building more transfer stations. We are building more landfill sites. We are removing the landfill site in the city and taking them outside the city. We have a huge project going on. We have an $80 million project going on at Tekpe, one of the biggest landfill in the African continent. We are developing over there. We have another landfill that we are developing right now at Akpa in Badagry, and these are huge projects. We have a transfer station that are developing. We have a material recovery facility that are developing. We have a waste to energy project moving on. Waste to waste conversion project are going on. These are downstream activities and may not be visible to the man on the street.
The Lagos State government in 1999 unveiled the Waste to Wealth program, with the core objective of harnessing a new line of economic activities and wooing interested investors through the provision of enabling environments for management of resources, protection of the environment through reuse and redistribution of discarded materials. In 2010, Loma unveiled communal waste recycling banks as part of measures to efficiently deal with the menace of waste generated daily across the state.
We're exploring all areas, in order to improve our waste management, even just to reduce, the waste in itself. We are trying to encourage people to start sorting their waste at source. If you can sort your waste at source, as it's been done in some foreign countries, you improve waste management practices. At this point in time, the challenges in front of Loma is how to increase and expand in these areas. Now, let me tell you, when it comes to recycling and sorting, the largest, it's actually a big business, but it's really in the informal sector.
Waste that can be recycled range from plastic bottles, plastic bags, cans, paper, metals, and even organic food. In fact, recyclers say there is virtually nothing in this world that cannot be recycled and be used for something else or returned to its original state. Ethylene, the most widely used petrochemical, is a basic raw material for industrial and consumer products. Polyethylene tetraphthalate, commonly called PET, and high-density polyethylene are the most valuable and recyclable of all plastic materials.
Waste management today in Lagos State worth over $200 million. So you can even look at this facility, you need to see the investment involved. So this will take over from even the advanced country now. Even today, if you go to some European countries, they are even importing waste from their neighboring country to power their power generation and so on. So the same thing can be. We can do away with the oil sector and concentrate on this recycling.
We are actually recycling exporting our waste, are we not?
Yes, for now we are exporting because we don't still have enough facility to take us to the end product. So what we do, we process to a stage, then the processed product has been exported to China especially, because the Chinese are coming into the industry seriously. So the recycler in Nigeria only process to a stage, then after the process, then we export out of the country, which I believe we can also generate revenue from the exporting.
And because of this, hundreds of scavengers sift through the various landfill and dump sites in Lagos in search of recyclables.
Anytime the boys goes out to collect materials from the customers, we dump everything here for sorting. That is why we call it an hub. So we have our customers. We have designated customers that we go to them every day to collect it from them. At the end of each day, if we collect from the customers, at the end of each day, they send their points to their phone. We collect their name. If we want to register the customers, we collect their name, their details, name, home address, and the phone number. So it is the phone number that we use to send the points to them at the end of each day. Anything we collect from them, we calculate everything and send it to them. No, at the end of each 3 months, we give out gifts to customers. We give out household items like TV, blender, toasting machine, plastic, and other.
If you go around the state, you can see people sorting plastics, wood, and all that, and selling it on to companies, who use it for their things. So the actual business itself, or practicing itself, is at the informal level. That is where the data gathering and information management becomes key. Let us know the number of people in that business. Let us know how much value, what value it is, so that we can understand where to invest in and where to put the support in.
The government is talking about partnership. The government should look for those in the formal sector to partner with the informal sector, because they do majority of the work. Most of the recycling you see today, or most of the sorting today, 80% of it is being done by the informal sector, which are the waste picker, the scavenger, and so on. So most of those cart pushers that are being sent away, they are the ones now working on the landfill and the dump site, and they separate most of this way. So they are making work easier for the recycler. So the government should incorporate the informal sector into the formal sector. That will make the issue of waste management move faster in Lagos State, because they do the majority work. They work on the landfill day by day, so they know what comes in daily in and out.